Welcome everyone. Today let's continue with the lesson environmental management and student this is part 3 video of this lesson for class 10 science 2. Okay, so before starting session, let's answer few question. First question is which factors affect the environment and how? So student, the natural as well as artificial or man-made factors affect the environment. Okay, so we are harming the environment, getting harmed due to the artificial also as well as naturally. Okay, and among natural factors, the sudden changes in the weather and the different types of a natural disaster etc affect the normal environment. Okay, and due to the various man-made activity like man-made causes, there are extreme destruction of environment and industrialization. That means due to the construction of many industries day by day, and the pollution. Okay, pollution due to the such industry. So if industry is constructed, okay, so what happened due to this, all the pollution is getting back into the environment only. And urbanization, construction of the cities, and hunting and poaching of wild animals, construction of dams, roads, bridges etc are all man-made changes that causes a lot of damage to environment. So due to this man-made activities, the environment are getting polluted. Okay, and natural factors like natural disaster, like weather change in the weather, and natural disaster affect the normal environment. So this is how naturally and artificially or man-made environment getting harmed. Okay, now next question is what will happen if number of consumer in environment goes on increasing gradually. Okay, so consumer, these are dependent on the producer for their food purpose. Okay, now in consumer also we have three types of consumer, like primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer, and apex consumer. Okay, now here means herbivore, carnivore, omnivore. So these are the different types of a consumer. So what will happen if the number of a consumer will increases in the environment? So if the number of consumer in the environment goes on increasing gradually, there would be a decline. There would be a decline in the number of the prey they feed on. That means if the consumer will increases, so the prey, the number of a prey will be decline. Now prey, these are the animal that is hunted and killed by the another animal for the food. Okay, so so if the consumer will increases, then the number of a prey will be decreases, and a decline in the number of a prey would eventually result in a decline in the number of consumer due to the scarcity of the food. So this is how this whole process affect the food chain, and indirectly it is affecting the complete environment. Okay, so hence increase in the number of consumer in the environment would cause an imbalance in the ecosystem also. So this is how the ecosystem or environment is getting disturbed due to the increase in number of a consumer. Okay, next question, what will be the effect of industry established on the river bank, on the river ecosystem? That means if the industry is constructed on the river bank side, so what will be happen to the ecosystem? Alright, so this is one type of industry which is constructed on the river bank. Okay, so releasing inadequately treated waste water into river can lead to degradation of aquatic ecosystem. So in aquatic the ecosystem, okay, or the organism or plant life which are there in the river aquatic ecosystem, they will be harmed due to the treated waste water by the industries. Okay, and some aquatic plants and animals are highly susceptible to the effect of water pollution, and they may become or endangered. That means if the treated waste water has been poured into the river ecosystem, okay, or aquatic ecosystem, so what happened, the plant life, aquatic plant life and animal life will be getting in danger. Okay, so they may be due to the water pollution, they may be die or they may become endangered. Endangerment means the number of plants and animals life in the ecosystem will be declined, and this will affect the balance of river ecosystem. That means if the due to the pollution, if the number of plants and animal will be decreases, so it will be imbalanced to the aquatic ecosystem or river ecosystem, and the food chains and the food web in the river may be terminated, and the natural wildlife of aquatic environment will be in danger. So this is how the food chain and ecosystem and environment is getting disturbed if the industry is established on the river bank, on the river ecosystem. Okay, now next topic is environmental conservations. Okay, so in the previous slides we have seen how the ecosystem or how the environment is getting danger due to the various man-made and natural activities. Okay, so that is why it is a very important topic, that how to conserve the environment. Okay, so let us discuss the environmental conservation now. Okay, so when some natural factors of environment and some artificial factors are polluted factors harm the environment. Okay, so that means environment is getting harmed due to natural as well as artificial factors, and it creates imbalance between various factors of the environment and the ultimately affect the existing of the biotic factor. That means all the biotic factors, all the living things like plants, animal, human being, birds, everything is getting disturbed due to the man-made as well as natural factors. Okay, so here one chart is given to us, that is factors affecting environment. So there are two factors affecting the environment. First is natural factor and next is the man-made factor. And under the natural factor we have earthquake, natural disaster. Okay, like earthquake, flood, tsunami, forest fire. These are all the naturally happened factors. And man-made factors like deforestation, hunting, poaching and pollution. Okay, so these all are the natural and man-made factors which are causing harm to the environment. Okay, so it is well said by Mahatma Gandhi that earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need but not every man's greed. So it is earth which satisfy our all need just to survive. Okay, and it satisfy our all basic needs but not every man's greed. That is why to conserve the environment, to conserve the earth, it is our responsibility to conserve the nature. Okay, now next topic. So student, at present many environmental problems have been arisen due to effect of various natural and artificial factors on the earth, and this we have just now described in our previous slides. And environmental pollution is one of those main factors. Generally contamination. Now contamination means pollution. Okay, so pollution of any material is its pollution. Now contamination means polluted. So polluted of any material is its pollution. And unnecessary and unacceptable change in the surrounding environment due to natural events or human activity is called as the environmental pollution. It means if environment is getting harm due to the natural activities or man-made activities, so this is called as a environmental pollution. That is direct or indirect changes in physical, chemical and biological properties of air, water and soil which will be harmful to human and other living beings is environmental pollution. So due to the environmental pollution, what happened, the properties of water, air and soil is getting harmful, and this harm and if these things are getting harmed or dangered, so what happened, it will directly affect to living being, that is human and other plants, animals, etc. Okay, so this is the environmental pollution. And various reasons like population explosion, fast industrialization and indiscriminate use of natural resources. Now indiscriminate use of natural resources means we are using randomly we are using the resources which are present in the nature. We are not keeping safe the things for the future. Okay, so deforestation and unplanned urbanization are responsible for environmental pollution. So the man-made factors are very responsible for the environmental pollution. Okay, student, pollution is a broad concept and various types of pollution like that of air pollution, water, sound, soil, thermal means heat pollution, light pollution occur around us, and ultimate adverse effect of all this is on existing of all living organism, and out of this environmental conservation has become the need of our. So due to all the type of a pollution I have described in alongside picture, you can observe air pollution, water pollution. Okay, so due to all kinds of these pollution, what happened, adverse effect on all the living things, existing of the living things like plants life, animal life, everything, every living organism is getting endangered. So that is why environmental conservation has become the need of a hour. Okay, now next let us describe the radioactive pollution. So first of all, what is radioactive pollution? So this is a pollution due to the nuclear reactions, okay, or which harm the living species and environment So this is called as a radioactive pollution. And UV and IR. UV means ultraviolet and IR means infrared radiations are natural radiations, whereas X-rays and radiation from atomic energy plants and are artificial radiation. So these are the radioactive pollution can occur due to two reasons, as natural and artificial. So in the natural we have UV rays and infrared rays. These are the natural radiation, whereas X-rays and radiation from the atomic energy plants are artificial radiation. So due to this natural and artificial radiation, the radioactive pollution has been arises, and which harms the living species and the complete environment. So student, Chernobyl and wind scale and 3 miles island mishaps are the major mishaps of the world till present. So these are the three major mishaps, or we can say the nuclear accident which had taken place in the three regions like Chernobyl. This is Chernobyl is the nuclear plant in the Ukraine, and wind scale is a nuclear accident happened in the UK, and 3 miles island, this is a United States power plant accident in the US, okay, United States. So these are the three major new radioactive mishaps, okay, which cause a very fatal accident. And thousands of are the major mishap. These are the major mishap of the world till present, and thousands of people have been affected for long term due to this accident. And due to this radioactive accident, what happened, the thousands of people are affecting, and this radioactive pollution has been transferred from one generation to next generation. So all the generation has been affected till now due to this very harmful radioactive accidents. Okay, now let us describe the effects of a radiation are as follows. Okay, so some effects I have mentioned here. First effect is a cancerous ulceration occurs due to higher radiation of X-rays, and second is the tissues in the body are destroyed due to the radiation, and it can cause damage to the DNA. So if the DNA is damaged, then cell and tissues, everything getting damaged. And third is that genetic changes occur, and these changes occur from generation to the generation, one generation to next generation. And fourth is vision is adversely affected by the radiation. Okay, now let us understand the need of environmental conservation. Okay, so student, general public is not aware about the rules of the environmental conservation, and there should be large scale participation of the people in environment conservation. So it will be possible to answer the environmental problems only if environmental protection conservation becomes an effective public movement, then only it will become possible. Okay, if all the people get into the activity, so all this will possible. For this purpose, values like positive attitude and affection towards environment, knowledge about it, etc., should be inculcated among the children since their childhood. So these all activities or all the possibilities should be taught to the children from their childhood only. Okay, and this will help to make the future generation more aware about the environmental conservation and protection. So as to achieve this, it is necessary to increase the awareness through education. So education is a platform where we can give where we can educate the children from their childhood about the environmental conservation. Okay, so this will become easy to able to understand how the environmental conservation should be done. Okay, so student, today all the developing and underdeveloped countries have accepted the responsibilities of environmental protection, and they have defined the future plans about environmental protection and have constituted the necessary laws. So all the countries, like whether they are developed countries, developing countries, and underdeveloped countries, they have accepted the responsibility about the environmental conservation, and they have put forward some laws related to the environmental conservation. Okay, so nowadays we are observing the environmental degradation everywhere. So here that one chart is given, we have to fill up. So in the middle it is written as need of the environmental conservation, and the 2 points are given. First is to solve the natural and artificial problem, and next is to maintain the balance in nature. Okay, and a third need for environmental conservation is to maintain the clean, pollution free air, water and land, because these three factors affect the living organism most. That is why the need of environmental conservation. Okay, and fourth point, to conserve the natural resources, and fifth, to protect and conserve biodiversity. That means different species of plants and animals should be protected or conserved. And next one, to give quality of light and quality of life and sustainable future to next generation. So that is why the need of a environmental conservation is much. Okay, now let us understand different laws, that the laws enacted about environmental conservation. So student, there are two laws which are enacted about the environmental conservation. First is Forest Conservation Act in 1980, and second is Environmental Conservation Act in 1986. Okay, let's first understand the first law, Forest Conservation Act. Okay, 1980. So by this act, the land reserved for forest conservation has been prohibited to use for any other purpose by this law. Okay, that means forest should not be used for any other activities. And for example, permission of a central government is compulsory for mining activities. So if we are someone wants to perform the activity in the forest, the permission of central government should be compulsory. And any person who disobeys this law is entitled to imprisonment for 15 days. So this is for Forest Conservation Act or law. And next law is Environmental Conservation Act in 1986. So purpose of this act is to control the pollution and punish the persons or institute harming the environment. Okay, so the activities of human being, okay, which are related to the harm to environment, this law is enacted just to control the pollution and punish the person who are harming the environment. Okay, and any person or factory is prohibited by this act from releasing the pollutants in atmosphere beyond a permissible limit, and the person breaching this rule is entitled for either 5-year imprisonment or fine up to rupees 1 lakh. A National Green Tribunal has been established in 2010 for effective implementation of environmental related laws. So student, everyone should follow these two laws just to because why? Because we have to conserve our environment. Okay, not to destroy the environment. So it is our responsibility to conserve environment, and if we will follow each and every law enacted by the government, so our environment and not by the government, we should, it is our own responsibility. Okay, along with the government, it is our responsibility to take each and every step related to for the conservation of environment. So student, I hope you all have understood this topic very well, and next part we will continue in our next session. Thank you.